Hey, what's going on, you guys? This is Shayla Jade. This is Chocolate Cake 101. It just dawned on me when I'm recording these videos and I'm watching myself, like right now, I'm having a whole thing with me. This is a very intimate thing. And I'm watching myself right now and expressing myself through my hands. All right, it's 4 o'clock, can you tell? It's 4 a.m. Today's video, I'm talking about wounded feminine energy in men. So we talked about this whole series with masculine and feminine energy. And I told you it was going to be a series because I had to lay down the foundation for the more in-depth conversations that we want to have later down the road, right? So I talked about the basis of masculine and feminine energy. I have 2 videos. The cards are going to be above. One I did a few years ago, which was a request from TikTok. You guys, I'm locked out of my TikTok. I don't know how to get in it. I'll try. I don't really care, but I'll try. So if you see anything about TikTok, I fixed it or I got a new one. And if you don't, then I didn't. So one is that. And then the other one, the most recent one, is Men Are From Mars, Women Are Venetian. These are just the basic foundations of what sexual energy is in all of us. Then I also went and talked about what masculine or toxic masculine energy or hyper or wounded masculine, there's different degrees of pain, right? And some pain changes us and some pain doesn't. So what that looks like in women, I talked about what toxic masculine energy looks like in women because that is a issue. So now I'm also going to talk about what wounded feminine or toxic feminine energy looks like in men because, like I said, that is an issue. There's a few things that I wanted to go over that I've said in other videos and I haven't said, but so I'm going to make sure I say it. I have been looking at notes that I wrote because if I don't write notes, I'm all over the place. Okay, that's why I write notes. But then I'm still all over the place because it's just like a basis, and then I just say what I want to say. So, both sexual energies live in all of us to various degrees. I've said this before. Masculine and feminine, male or female in the physical form, a penis or vagina, are just 2 opposite sides of the same energy. It's the different poles. It's polarity. It's also the lowest or a lower form of these energies. In spirituality, when you're a spirit, when you have no body, and when you're outside of your your senses, see, taste, touch, hear, smell, when you're outside of those things, you don't have a penis or a vagina. It's just an energy that you go by. So on a lower form, being that we are in the 3rd density of 10, thought I heard the baby. Now, this is what it looks like. So all I'm talking about is how you express how you relate to who you are, how you relate to yourself in this world, and how your relationship in this world, how you relate to who you are and everything around you, how it relates to you based off of your sexual expression, which is your sex, masculine energy or feminine energy. I am not talking about your lover, your companion, and what you expect from there, your sexual preference or your romantic preference. I will be talking about that, but that's deep, and this is the basis, so stay tuned for that. We have various degrees of these energies in us based off of your life experience, things you've gone through, your ideologies, your demographic, things like that. I think that's it. Is that it? Oh, and when I say whatever you see in the thumbnails is clickbait, I'm working on it, right? I'm trying to scare you to come watch my video. But it works sometimes. And it's going to work again. But when I'm talking about hyper or wounded or toxic, I'm just talking about the same thing, trauma. And some trauma leaves more of a mark than others. And some trauma doesn't. There's a difference between falling down and scratching your knee versus a clump of it coming off versus your whole knee just bending, breaking backwards. This is an example, but you get what I'm saying. Let's get into the video. What is feminine energy and what is wounded feminine energy? I'm just recapping. Definitely go back and watch the videos to get more information and in depth of what I was saying. But to recap, feminine energy is nurturing, loving. She is the receiver. She is the, what am I talking? I like talking about masculine first, but I'm not doing that. So she is the thriver. So if you think about coming onto this earth, you want to survive first, and then after you have solidified your survival, then you want to thrive, right? So the feminine energy is the thriver. She is happy, she is fun, she is creative, she is nurturing, she creates the creation, and she raises it until it can have its own stability and then become its own expression, which is the sun, which is your masculine energy. So when feminine energy is wounded, it's not going to be worrying about, it's going to be in survival mode because it doesn't trust, it doesn't feel vulnerable, it doesn't trust itself or the world around her. It doesn't feel vulnerable enough to express itself with creativity and love and happiness and all these wonderful cosmic things. It doesn't feel safe to be loving and creative. It's too busy in survival mode, just trying to protect itself because it doesn't feel safe. That's what wounded feminine energy is. And I said in previous videos, a lot of people, when you have one, you have both to various degrees. If you are a wounded feminine, you also have wounded toxic masculine, because if the feminine ain't doing her job, the masculine has to come in and do it for her. So he's mad at her, and all you women ain't shit, basically. Don't you hear that, right? You hear that. So that's what I'm talking about. Men are mad. Masculine energy is in our worlds that we live in. The feminine energy, the matriarch, is hiding. She's scared. She's gone. The patriarch has stepped up, but he's hostile. Women, emotions, nurturing, all that stuff gets disrespected in all of us, not just men, but in women too. That's what I wanted to say. It's hard to do a video like this because men are supposed to express themselves. They are supposed to be emotional, and there's different degrees. And it's hard to tell anybody not to be who they are, especially based off their expressions. I never want to come off as telling someone, especially a man, especially in the time that we are alive in right now, where men are unaliving themselves at high rates because they were not able to express themselves, and all that junk just built up, all those emotions just built up until they imploded, right? So I don't want to tell you that you're weak or you're, you know what I'm saying, but we can't get this fixed if we don't talk about it. I would not even care about being disrespectful. I don't want anyone to think that they can't express themselves or be who they are, especially men who need to express themselves and be who they are in the various degrees. However, there's such misconception and misrepresentation of what these emotional standards should look like, then people telling men what they're supposed to be. There's so much going on to this, but with a patriarch that has stepped up, whether it's been ill-dignified or whatever, with the matriarch going away and the patriarch stepping up, there's been a lot of misconceptions about what feminine energy is, denying of that. You're not allowed to be loving and nurturing, emotional, especially if you live in like a first world country where everything is about work, 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 work. We ignore the children. We ignore playtime. There are countries in Europe that break for lunch so people can take a nap. They don't do that here. You're lucky to get sleep at night. It's 4 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. We're lucky to get sleep at night because it's go, 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 go. It's self-care out the window. It's a luxury. See what I'm saying? All the feminine stuff is not catered to, not important, not focused on. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about a patriarchal society that's overran and he's angry and it's a machine. You live in a country, some of us, that runs like a machine. That's a hyper-masculine energy. That's toxic masculine. All right, so what does wounded feminine energy look like in men? This is in no particular order. For one, it's going to look like a man that is afraid to lead or provide. So men are innately, masculine energy is innately a provider, a leader, the sun, right? So a man that doesn't want to do that, it's not because he can't, it's because he's scared. He's afraid of himself. He doesn't trust himself. He doesn't trust himself in the world. He doesn't trust the world around him. And it's easier to just take the fall and take the L than it is to try and fail. This is a different conversation than provider energy and who's going to pay the bills. And to be honest with you, if you're having these debates on who's going to provide, who's going to pay the bills, both of y'all just need to focus on your money. Focus on passive income, because people who are thriving aren't worried about who's going to pay the bills. The bills are getting paid. You see what I'm saying? So that's a weird argument anyway for me, because I'd rather collaborate and work on everyone thriving. But a wounded masculine, a wounded feminine man is going to be one who just finds women who are successful so he doesn't have to be. Or he is very big on that whole 50-50 thing. Or if he does have to pay 50-50, he's going to cheat. Like just weird stuff, right? It has nothing to do with the actual love and the bond in a relationship and being able to take care of each other when one person needs to, or allow the woman to be a woman and do her job while you do yours. See what I'm saying? So his feminine is wounded because he can't empathize and step up. That's a whole nother conversation. That's not where I was going. I really just meant, you know, those guys who look for a woman who will take care of them. Which goes into my next step. My next one is a man who always sees his partner as his mother. This is someone who didn't get the nurturing and the loving and the love that he wanted when he was younger. So he is now looking for it in his partner. This is a sad thing, and I don't even mean that in a condescending way. We all deserve love and nurturing, and when you don't get it, you were stuck at the age of your trauma. So if you see a man who's like this, it's not something, it's not like to hate on or to make fun of. Yeah, it's something to be worked through. All these things can be balanced out, you guys. You give him lots of love and nurturing, but someone who has it, their cup runneth over and they want to give it. Someone who has been given lots of love and lots of nurturing, they are ready to be that rather than needing it and wanting it, taking it, and wanting a mom. That's just a weird topic anyway. Another example is a lover boy. So like your certified lover boy. The reason why this is wounded feminine energy is because someone who loves in a romantic way is wanting to bond with someone. And if you're bonding with lots of people, you're not bonding with anybody. If you're spreading your love thin, you're not bonding with anyone. And the only reason why you're not bonding is the reason you're doing it is because you are afraid to be vulnerable. So you are essentially running from a connection and a commitment by spreading yourself out in multiple people. I can't have a bond with you if I got a bond with 3 of y'all. You're not that special. That's wounded feminine energy. That's also a lack of commitment. That's also a lack of, and it really depends on what your relationship status is, because there are people who really do it. That's just what you guys want to do. I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about the men who go from woman to woman on purpose. They're doing that because they're afraid of the commitment of one. This is a lack of love with self and trust with self. And it's really about not wanting to be vulnerable. So I went through this myself, not the whole spreading myself thin, but with not being able to receive the love that I wanted. And I think that this is what a lot of people go through. In our society, we are shown that Disney version of happily ever after and what romance looks like in its raw form. But when it's time to be that, for me, I wasn't ready to be vulnerable to receive the romance and the deep connection that I wanted. I wasn't going off and doing that with multiple people, but there are people who, because they're not ready to receive that, that's what an avoidant is. They'll run and go do and distract themselves with third parties. This is what a third party is called. It could be work. It could be a sport or an activity. It could be with other women. You distract yourself because you're afraid to focus. It's too much for you. And that's something that can be worked on. Next one. Well, this really goes into, these last two kind of to me are the same. The Papa being a Rolling Stone and the polygamy. The reason why I called it Papa is a Rolling Stone, but really I'm talking about men who, and this is becoming a weird thing, men who just want to have all these different children with different women and they're not focused on any one of the families. I think of Cam Newton. I think of Nick Cannon. I think of Future. And we're not even on that yet. I don't even mean to disrespect these men because I don't know them, but having all these children, especially when you financially have the means, so it's not like you're at work. Well, you might be. But when finances aren't a problem and you just want to have different connections and families here and there, now you are, the reason why this is wounded feminine energy is because, same thing, you're not building a bond with anybody. You have bond with all these different families. Your children aren't going to be able to get to see you. It really starts with the wife. I said it in my last video, or the woman. Teal Swan talked about the ability of being a great mom is your support system in the dad. So if dad is not in the household because dad has multiple families and dad's doing his own thing, mom has to step up as the mom and the dad. So she's too busy stepping up in the provider role, aka the survivor role. She can't be feminine. She can't be nurturing. She can't thrive. And that's what a lot of children have experienced that come from single mother parenthoods. I think Ayana Van Zant, said it best. She said she was a horrible mother, but she was a great father to her kid. Meaning, I provided for my child and I made sure my child was where he needed to be, but I didn't get to be a mom to my child. I didn't get to love and nurture and make sure his food was made to the best quality with great ingredients, and make sure what he was learning was actually going to be beneficial, and be able to teach him real life skills and not just be there to feed him. See what I'm saying? And with emphasis on teaching our children life skills, because school is not doing that. Even if you send them to school, school's not doing that. So when mom's not in the household, these kids aren't getting what they need. And now you have a whole generation or two of knuckleheads. I love y'all. I love the kids of knuckleheads. Not knuckleheads, but you know what I'm saying. So that's why. So now you have left this woman stretched out, and the kids have to step up also because you're gone. So this is, again, avoidant energy and running and going off and doing it again. It's lack of love. It's lack of respect. It's lack of care for the families that you make. You are not stepping up to your responsibility as a man, because when a man is in his feminine energy, when a man is in healthy, balanced feminine energy, he's helping to create not just a child, but he's creating a family. So if he's running from the child, that's wounded. But then when he's running from the family too, that's still wounded. Wounded feminine energy. Polygamy is I tap her on that line because there are no rules to the relationships that you can have. If you are okay with a monogamous relationship, great. If you want to be with multiple people, that is your prerogative. But the reason why I put polygamy on this list, not polyandry, although we can, I put polygamy on this list because I had yet to meet a balanced man that's polygamous. Most of the time he wants multiple women, but it's not okay if she steps out of the relationship. And that to me is it's not fair. And it's also, you see the problem in it if it was on you, but because you get the benefit of it, you don't respect the other members. And that's not even a good leader. That's not a good leader. That's just like a little brat. I'm gonna have to use that part. But anyway. Also some other things, lack of discipline. A wounded feminine energy is not going to be disciplined up enough to set a schedule, to be on time, to do the things that she needs to do for her evolution. She's not protecting. She does not feel protected. So she's not responsible. To various degrees, right? So this is also going to be someone who is emotionally and physically all over the place. Emotional. And then you also have your men who are just like catty haters. And I'm really getting like, sorry, future, but I'm really getting some future in this because I really don't understand why you are hating on a man who stepped up to take care of the kid that you weren't going to take care of. Like, did you want your kids to be fatherless? It's just weird. I don't know. That's weird. Okay. Those are some, but I'm sure there's more and you can add them in the comments if you'd like. Now, I do want to touch base real quick on simp, alpha, and beta males. I'm not going to say too much about this because there's a misconception, especially in the urban community, of what these things even are. So a simp, and I'm referring to a man that allows women to step all over him, a people pleaser, basically is a wounded masculine. Excuse me, a wounded masculine, sure, but a wounded feminine. A simp has wounded feminine energy. People pleasing, letting them, being a pick-me, letting women walk all over them, throwing money at them just to try to get their love. We're not going to talk too much about it. I just wanted to add that. Alpha male is not what the urban community says. An alpha male, the way they describe it, is really just an ill-dignified ruler, a dictator, if you will, a bully, someone who has the looks and the drive and the talent to be the leader, but they also have some rugged villain qualities too, of unfairness, of narcissism, of what's it called when men hate on women? Oh gosh, I've had brain fog this morning. Unfairness toward women, unfairness toward anyone who's not him, really. A true alpha male is the balanced masculine energy. And the leader, the king, is the one that works the hardest. If you look at a pack of wolves, the leader of the pack is in the back. And he's not just in the back, he's in the way back because he's trying to protect from anything that can come from behind. The leader, a true leader, takes care of the people, doesn't impress upon them for his gain. And a beta male is really just a masculine energy who, it's not a weak one, they just more seek adventure and creativity. There's 7 masculine personality types. There's alpha, beta, sigma, zeta, omega, There's 7, okay? So this whole alpha versus beta thing is really weird. And they're not in competition with each other. They're just different personality types. But I did want to say, wounded feminine energy, both simps and alpha males have qualities of wounded feminine energy. Specifically with the alpha males, they are hypermasculine in many ways, but a lot of that is also wounded feminine. And I already said it several times, when you have one, you have both, because when one has to do the most, when one is lacking, the other one has to do the most. So it's really just alignment. All right. I also want to say, a lot of this man versus woman thing is weird because men should never be in competition with women and women should never be in competition with men. I'm not big on competition anyway, because to me that's like the bottom of the barrel stuff, like crabs in a barrel. Competition is a masculine energy, not a feminine one. Feminine energy is collaborative. I've said this before. If you look at the way, and it's talked about online a few times, if you look at the way boys compete versus boys play versus the way girls play, boys are always playing competitive sports. There's rules to the game. It helps build their leadership, but it also, categorize them the best to worst. And whenever there is a disagreement, they still play the game. They just make up rules that are seemingly fair to all. Girls do not play competitive games. They play relationship games. That's more collaborative. Barbies. I forgot what this is called. Clap hands. It's not called clap hands. My mother, your mother, this across the street. Hopscotch. Not hopscotch, because that could be competitive, but double dutch. They play relationship games. Their games are about house. Their games are about the relationship. And when things aren't going well, they end the game. They do not stay in the relationship or in the collaboration with someone that they're not, when it's not working out. See what I'm saying? Anyways, so I say all that to say men and women competing with each other is unnatural, and it is a failure method in our society. And that's why we're having these conversations, because the competition is just weird and it's unnatural. Aren't we supposed to be lovers and friends? My last thing that I wanted to talk about is what a healthy masculine looks like. And I've said this already in the video when I talk about men are from Mars, the women are Venetian, but a healthy masculine energy is one, and this is going to be in different various forms because everyone gets to be different, right? But a healthy masculine is one that, a healthy person, a balanced person. And we're not all going to hit the T perfectly, but we're going to be as close to that yin yang as possible, as close to the line as possible. So a healthy masculine is someone who, a good leader. And a good leader is a good follower, by the way. He is loving, but he's hardworking. He doesn't mind getting dirty. It's a balance, you guys, between masculine and feminine energy. Doesn't mind getting dirty. Cleans up nice. Doesn't mind being ruthless. He's a great lover. It's a collaboration. It's a collaboration, you guys. Go back to the video and watch what I said. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. And lastly, ways to balance this energy out. It's the same with everything. You can do shadow work if you want, but you don't have to. There are 10,000 ways to heal or to be balanced. You can simply, I would say, if nothing else, categorize your life of what you want it to look like. What would the ideal you look like? And then after you categorize that, money, career, family, how you dress, your health, how you relate to yourself, the world around you, the sports you want to play, the extracurricular activities you want to have, place you want to travel, goals that you have. What does that ideally look like? And if you could have whatever you want, what would it be? Then how am I going to get there? What are skills that I need to have? Do I need to start waking up early? Do I need to write down my monthly goals? Do I need to have more discipline? Do I need to start working out? Do I need to go back to school? And I wouldn't just tackle it right away. I would get in the mindset. So we talk about stabilizing your state of being, because discipline and change starts within. If you don't feel different about you, then you're not going to do different things. So this is also about working on your self-concept and having a better understanding of who you are in this world and what you can do. We as humans tend to limit ourselves, but we are very unlimited beings. We are God. We are a part of all of that. We are all. So you get to choose how you want to be and who you want to be. And then your mind will make up rules on life based off of what you think is supposed to happen. So this is about you being unlimited. working on your self-concept. Journal. Practice. This is all about practice. You could take something small, something medium, and something large from the list and work on it for that week, for that month. But keep going. If you want to continue to grow, you must always work on your mental, your spiritual, and your physical health. That means you should always be, and I mean daily, doing something for your spirit, for your mental, and for your body. Whether that be meditating, going back to school, or doing these free courses online and working out. Simple stuff like that. You will always grow. You will always be balanced. You will always be balancing yourself out, because toxicity is always going to come in. It's all around us. But you're going to balance it out, so it doesn't matter. And you're going to have a self-concept that it doesn't touch you, that you are healthy, that you're balanced, that you're great. I'm gonna go pick up my baby and cuddle with him until the sun comes up in an hour. Thank you for watching. Share this video with someone that you think can find value in it. I appreciate you guys. You guys are great. Are you? I'm just kidding. I have really good people around me, so I'm very appreciative. Thank you for supporting this channel. My love is your love. Good night. Good morning. Not good morning. Peace.